That's what one of 8 witnesses tells us he saw today when a man shot and killed a woman, then himself in broad daylight. Police are calling it a murder-suicide and tell us they're investigating it as an act of domestic violence. Good evening, I'm Amanda Shivari. Geneva police responded to Exchange Street just before noon today and found 2 people with gunshot wounds. One was already dead. The other was pronounced dead at Geneva General Hospital. Nina Porciuncula has been in Geneva tracking this investigation all day. That's where she joins us now live. Nina, what do we know about the victims at this point?
Well, Amanda, police have not released their identities yet, but families confirmed to us that they were Pedro Pacheco and Emily Carson. They were apparently a couple, and today was Emily Carson's 38th birthday. I want to show you how the scene looks like right now. We have some flowers and candles to remember the victims of today's incident. I spoke with one of the witnesses, and he recalled the disturbing details of this crime. We'd like to warn you that what he's about to say is graphic.
He shot her while she was down. That's what hurt me the most, was to see somebody get shot while they're already down, and he's still doing it to her, and then he turns it on himself.
It's a scene Stephen Pine will never forget. When he went out to get groceries before noon, he never thought he would be an eyewitness to a murder-suicide in Geneva. Stephen says he saw the woman driving a black SUV with a man in the passenger seat. He was in the car right next to them. They were stopped at the traffic light on the corner of Castle and Exchange Street.
She jumped out of her driver's side, and she left the door wide open, didn't even close the door, and just took off running. And then he jumped out of the car and started chasing after her.
Stephen recalls how the man caught up with the woman on this parking lot.
I could actually see him holding her by her right arm and basically flailing her, like throwing her around, and then kicking her in the chest.
And then that's when Stephen says the man shot the woman multiple times before shooting himself. He called 911. When police arrived, the man was already dead. The woman was transported to Geneva General Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Geneva Police Chief Jeffrey Trickler says the shooting started as a domestic dispute.
My officers deal, unfortunately, with domestic violence on a daily basis, and it's sad to see when it results in such a tragic incident as this.
And as police continue their investigation, witnesses like Stephen Pine will remember the chilling details of this crime.
It was so traumatizing that I don't think I'll ever forget it.
Police recovered the weapon at the scene, and they also impounded a vehicle that was related to this incident. Amanda?
Nina, you spoke with families of both of the victims. What else did they have to tell you this evening?
Well, family members of Pedro Pacheco said he has 2 kids from a previous relationship, but he and Emily Carson did not have any children together. They said he was never a violent person and that they are surprised that he was able to do something like this. Now, with Emily Carson, I spoke with one of her sons. He is 20 years old and he has 2 younger siblings. He said that his mother was a nurse at Geneva General Hospital, where she was transported earlier.
So many people in our community, and they thought so highly of her. And, you know, anybody who knows her smile and her laugh, and she was just a little spitfire too.
Family members remembering mother, sister, and nurse killed on her birthday. Today, Geneva police told us Emily Carson was the victim of a murder-suicide over the weekend. I'm Scott Kilberry.
I'm Janet Lomax. Investigators say Carson was shot on Exchange Street by 35-year-old Pedro Pacheco. Then he turned the gun on himself. Several people witnessed this and called 911.
Police say this started as a domestic dispute. Today, Amanda Shivari went to Geneva to learn more about Carson. She joins us live.
Amanda, when something like this happens, people search for answers. Was there a history of domestic violence in this relationship?
Well, Janet and Scott, police tell me there were no calls from Emily to 911 about any kind of domestic dispute. You can see behind me a memorial is growing. People are actually here right now dropping off flowers, candles, and words of kindness about Emily. Today, I spoke to her family, and they tell me that she was a wonderful person. I was actually shocked by their ability to articulate the woman she was so close to this tragedy. And one thing's for sure, in their mind, the world won't be as bright without Emily in it.
We can't even imagine what our lives are going to be without her, but we know that we were blessed to have her around for as long as we did.
Monica Brosted smiles as she remembers her younger sister, Emily Carson, Carson was killed yesterday on her 38th birthday. But her sister says that isn't what defines her. Carson was a daughter, an emergency room nurse at Geneva General, and a mother of 3, ages 9, 15, and 20.
They're just a joy of her life. She just lived for them and spent so much time having fun. They'd go camping, they'd go for hikes down by the lake, and just, they knew that she loved them, and she knew they loved her too.
Today on Exchange Street in Geneva, a memorial for Carson grows. Police are calling her death an act of domestic violence. And at the memorial, a sign is up that reads, "No excuse for abuse." Did you guys know anything about any kind of domestic violence that may have been there?
No, I didn't know anything, but I think that's the case a lot of times with these types of things, that you just don't know. And I don't think that anybody could have expected this to happen, and I don't think she expected it to happen either.
And Brostad hopes the community remembers her sister for the way she lived.
I would like them to remember that she was just the happiest, funniest, friendliest person, and really cared about everyone she encountered.
Yeah, beautiful words there. Domestic violence can really happen in any community. Experts say 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will be victims of domestic violence. And we want to share with you some resources in case you or someone you love is being touched by domestic violence. The Safe Harbor of the Finger Lakes is a great local resource, and the number is on your screen. You can reach them at 315-536-9654. Or you can call the Willow Group of Rochester at 222-SAFE. Janet?
We see that outpouring of love for her behind you. You mentioned that she worked at the Geneva General Hospital. What are they saying this evening?
Yeah, Janet, they are heartbroken by the news of her death. She actually worked there for 18 years and followed her mother's footsteps, becoming an ER nurse. The hospital released a statement that reads in part, quote, "Emily will be remembered as truly authentic, a dedicated nurse and an unwavering patient advocate. She had a contagious laugh, a warm sense of humor, incredible spirit, and deep compassion." And Janet and Scott, this is something that we've heard echoed from every single person today that knew Emily.
Amanda Shivari with our report tonight. Thank you.